Autumn Beckman here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. The two most popular Louis Vuitton bags are the Speedy and the Neverfull. So today I'm going to compare those side by side, and I know a lot of people struggle with which one to get or which one to get first, which one works better for them. So that's why I'm doing this comparison, to help those people decide which one you might want. They're both fantastic bags. I love them both, and I've used both of these two bags more than anything else in my collection. So let's go through and see kind of pros and cons. There really aren't cons to these bags in my opinion, but I know there are some things that some people like better or worse about each of them. So we'll do that, and we'll also do a what's in my bag, or not a what's in my bag, but a what fits, so you can see what fits. Now obviously there are some, let me get that kind of straightened out here. There are some size differences with these, so let's start with the dimensions. Now, side by side, the Neverfull is taller, obviously. And the Neverfull will definitely hold more than the Speedy 30, but the Speedy 30 holds a lot. And if I didn't say, this is the Neverfull MM and this is the Speedy 30. The bases on these bags are pretty much the same size. The Speedy is a little bit wider, but other than that, they are very, very similar, which is one of the reasons that they hold about the same amount, but then you can stack more on the Neverfull. So Neverfull dimensions, the width on the bag, which I counted as the long way here, and I measured from the center, the edge to the edge down the center, and that's 12 inches. The depth, which I measured across this way, is about 6 inches, and then the height I measured here is about 11 inches. On the Speedy 30, the dimensions are very similar. The width on the bag, which I measured as the length, is 12 inches. The depth is 6.5, so it's a little bit more than the Neverfull. And then the height, I always take two measurements on. I go from the center here to the bottom, and that was about 8 inches. And then I measure from the bottom to where it starts to curve. That's about 5 inches. The reason I always give you that dimension is in case anybody wants to put an organizer, a bag organizer in here, you need to know what that dimension is, because you can't have something that goes higher, because then it gets folded in. So about 5 inches there if you want a bag organizer. A lot of people like to put organizers in these bags because the bases are soft. They're made of canvas, and once you start putting things in here, the bases can sag. So you've probably seen people carrying Speedies around. That's a little exaggerated, but it looks kind of like that. Or you've seen somebody carrying a Neverfull where the base sags. Now this one is a newer bag. It's about 2 years old, so it doesn't sag quite as much. The canvas is still pretty stiff on this one. Besides dimensions, there are a few other obvious differences between the two bags. So one is on the Neverfull, there's no zipper on the top. It does have this little clasp here where you can clip the bag closed. So it's closed on the middle, but it's still open on the ends. Some people worry about that, especially when they're on vacation, carrying this bag over your shoulder, and some people think that somebody could stick their hand in the back of the bag back here and grab your things. I don't think that's really possible, at least not on this size. Maybe the GM, I've never had a GM size. Maybe somebody could stick their hands in there. One thing that I've seen people do is take these side straps, the cinching straps, and fold those over and clip them. Let me just do this for you so you can see. So I've seen people fold those cinching straps in and clip the bag like this, and that's supposed to give it some added security. Personally, not a big fan of that look. I think that looks messy and not very elegant, but that's my opinion. What the cinching straps are actually made for is this. So the cinching straps are actually made to cinch the sides of the bag in so that it's a smaller bag. That definitely makes it more secure. It also takes up some of the room that you have to fit things in. So if you start to fit things to the edges there, this is not going to be folded in so much. It'll be poofed out more. But one of the great things about having those cinching straps is that you kind of get two bags for the price of one here. You've got your big tote, and then you've got a bag that, in my opinion, this looks a little bit dressier. And then you can attach a lock to each of the D-rings if you want to help keep that cinched or add a little decoration. You could add twillies there or a bag charm or something to add some decoration to it, and that would look really nice. Now, cinching it, a lot of people don't recommend that, because if you keep it cinched or you cinch it often, or if you store it cinched, then because the top of the trim here, the leather trim, is folded, you can get cracking over time. So it's recommended to keep your bag uncinched most of the time. Every once in a while I cinch mine, but not very often. So those are the ways that you can close or change the top of the Neverfull. The Speedy, you can either have zipped, very secure, and you can also attach your lock here. That's what those two holes are for, if you want it even more secure. Or you can wear it just unzipped. And those are your two options with the Speedy. The only handles on the Speedy are these two, unless you get the bandolier, which has a big shoulder strap. But on the regular Speedy, you've got these two handles, so you can either hand hold. The hole here is pretty small. You can get your arm through there, but sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle, especially if you are a little bigger or you've got bulkier clothes on, like in the winter. So I tend to carry my bag like this or like this. And I also have a shoulder strap from another bag that I attach to opposite rings here and carry it as a shoulder bag. I can't recommend that because it's not what these bags are made for. And if you ever do that, make sure that you're checking the stitches here to make sure that that strap isn't pulling those apart. I've never had a problem with that personally, but that's just something to be aware of. So those are the ways that you can hold this bag. The Neverfull, you can hold the same two ways, handheld over your arm, which is probably going to get heavy and be pretty awkward because it's a pretty big bag. Or you can wear it how I mostly wear it, which is over my shoulder. One of the things about wearing this as a shoulder bag, some people have complained that the straps are just a little short for that. So if I was to take one hand and try to put it over my shoulder, see how my elbow runs into the bag? My elbow doesn't just slip through. So I have to kind of work it and use two hands to do that. So that's something to be aware of too. But you can use it as a shoulder bag. And with the vachetta straps, which are a little more pliable than these ebene ones that are coated leather, you can get your arm through there a little easier because that leather is going to stretch more over time. When you're wearing this bag, it's easier to get in and out of this than the Speedy because you can just open up one side and reach in and get whatever you want. Whereas the Speedy, you would have to sit it down, open it up, use two hands to do that. Even if you have it, or actually when I use it as a shoulder bag, I can have it on my shoulder and get in, but it's still usually easier to take the bag off, put it down, unzip it, and open it up. If you're into decorating your bags, I don't have any bag charms out here, but I can maybe use this little Christmas ornament as an example. So bag charms on the Speedy, you could attach to one of the D-rings. And I take my luggage tag, and that has a little clip that I put on it, and I attach my luggage tag to that hole there. But I wouldn't recommend hanging anything heavy on that hole because it can stretch the leather out, including your lock. I tried hanging a lock on this once, and let me see if I can show you. You see how the hole is stretched out there? It's got kind of an indentation there. That's from me having a lock on there for a couple of weeks, and I wish I hadn't done that. On the Neverfull, most people hang a charm, if you're gonna do that, from the D-rings on the side. You don't want to hang anything heavy there. I've seen some people do something you should definitely not do, which, remember how I said I hang a shoulder strap from my Speedy here on those D-rings? That's sewn pretty secure, and the handles, like the chaps there, that's where the bag is meant to hold the weight of the bag. Does that make sense? Some people have put shoulder straps on these little D-rings. That's not where the bag was meant to have the weight held. Like, you're not supposed to hold the bag like this, right? The handles are here. The bag is meant to be supported by these chaps, not by the D-rings. So don't put a shoulder strap on those D-rings. I have seen people though put bag charms there. That's where I usually put my bag charms. Sometimes around the handles here, but a lot of the bag charms, it's hard to get the clip around the handle. It's just, it depends on how big your clip is. With twillies, I have seen people decorate the strap with a twilly, like wrapping a twilly around or tying a bow on it. You can do that. Personally, I find it easier to wrap a handle on the Speedy than the Neverfull because the Neverfull straps are so thin and long. But I think if you have a longer twilly, tying a bow here would be a nice option. Okay, now let's talk about the inside of the bags. The inside of the Neverfull is just one big open space, but it does have this pocket. On the old model and the new model Neverfulls, the pocket is a flap that just comes all the way out there. It's only attached at the top here. And the flap has a zippered compartment, which looks like that. It's nice and deep. You can fit a large wallet in there and zip it up, and that works great. The inside of the Neverfull also has a D-ring right there where you could attach something. The interior of the Neverfull also has these stripe designs. The interior of the Speedy is just plain. There are no stripes or any other kind of design. It has a pocket, but it's much smaller than the Neverfull pocket. So there it is. And it's not a zipper, it's just a little like folding thing, and it's harder to get into than the Neverfull pocket. This is an older bag, so this one has this shiny material inside, like a shiny coating inside. There's also a D-ring. It's on not the pocket side, but the opposite side, right there, hanging from that chap. The Speedy looks like a fairly small bag, but it is deceptively large. It holds a lot, and I'll show you that in a minute. I've heard several people refer to the Speedy as a black hole. A lot of people use organizers for that reason too. And even though the bases of the Speedy and the Neverfull are about the same size, it's a little more difficult to find something in your Speedy unless you've got it really organized, because it's just this big hole and things kind of wobble around and you have to open up the top to see inside. So it's a little darker inside because not as much light spills in, whereas this is just this giant open compartment. You have plenty of light, there's plenty of room to see inside your bag, so you're less likely to lose things in the Neverfull unless you start going vertically and lose things to the bottom of the bag. Cleaning the interior of the bag is something you may not have thought about. With the Neverfull, you can turn these inside out, and what I've done before is just take some clear packing tape and press it to the fabric. Both of these are lined with fabric, by the way, like a canvas. Just press that tape to the inside and pull it off, and it's like a lint roller. You just pull off all the dirt that's in there. You can do the same thing with the Speedy. I know I've seen people turn the Speedy inside out. I have never tried to do that. I think that would be much more difficult than doing the Neverfull. The Neverfull's still kind of a pain to turn inside out too, but you can do that. I've even seen people throw these in the washing machine, even the ones with vachetta on them. Personally, I've not tried that. I would be afraid to do it, but I've seen people in the Facebook Addicted group who have done that and had really good results. Do it at your own risk. All right, let me show you what fits in the Speedy, and I'm gonna try to pack this thing pretty full so you have a good idea of what fits, and then I'll put all of that stuff into the Neverfull and show you how much space is left in that bag. So I'm just gonna show you all my SLGs here and start packing those in. Here's my Tory Burch Cosmetic, my Sarah wallet full size. Here's a mini pochette, toiletry 15, sunglasses case, another sunglasses case, Agenda MM, Chanel card case, another little card case. And this is pretty much full now, at least the bottom is covered, and then I can still fit some things on top. So let me show you how it looks right now. It's pretty heavy with all that stuff in there, but there's how it looks with all that stuff. You can see there's still a space right there where I could put some other small thing, like another Chanel card case, or I don't know what else in there. And then there's still a lot of room on top. You see all that space. So if I zip it up, all those things come to about right here on the bag. So all this space is still left. And there's no organizer, so you can see how when you stuff it, it doesn't really sag that much. I haven't been using an organizer in a long time. So on top of that, I could fit a scarf and probably a few other things. So here it is with the scarf in there. There's still quite a bit of room. I don't know what else to put in there. Let me take all this stuff out and put it in the Neverfull so you can see what that looks like. Before I forget, I want to show you the Agenda GM fits in the Speedy 30. My Filofax, this size does not fit, but the Louis Vuitton one does, and this is actually the reason that I bought the Speedy 30, because I didn't think I was going to be a Speedy girl, but after I got it, I fell in love with it. So that fits, and actually let me take that out and show you how it fits. It's easiest to put it in this way, but it will fit in long way too, especially if the bag is empty. It's a little hard to do it one-handed. My finger's in the way, which makes it more difficult. But it definitely fits in there and stands up, and you can see that there's, if I move it to one side, there's still some room. So the GM definitely fits in the Speedy 30 if you need a bag that holds something that big. And of course the GM Agenda fits in the Neverfull also. It gives you an idea of the size there. Okay, here's everything I just showed you in the Speedy, now in the Neverfull. Now the Neverfull is a little bit more narrow, maybe half an inch or so more narrow than the Speedy, so it doesn't fit the width quite as well. I might want to take my sunglasses out and stand those somewhere, maybe like that instead. Doesn't really matter. They fit. I mean, it's a canvas bag, so it's stretchy. And then there it is with the scarf on top. If I stand it up without the scarf, everything in the bag goes to about right here. So all this space is still open. So you can throw your scarf or your sandals or your sun hat and whatever else in here. And I don't have anything in the pocket either. I know a lot of people keep their wallet zipped up in there for extra security. So you can see if you're looking for a bag that holds a ton, both of them really do. The Neverfull's gonna hold more, but they both hold a lot. Personally, I think that the Neverfull is more of a casual bag, though you can dress it up by cinching it in. I think that the Speedy is a little more dressy, especially depending on the print you get. Personally, I think the Damier Ebene is the dressiest of the three canvases. I think the monogram one looks much more casual. I think both of the Damier ones, the Azur and the Ebene, are dressier. In my opinion, the Speedy is more of a feminine bag, whereas the tote is just really casual. I think both of them can be taken to work. Of course, that depends on what job you have. I think both can be worn out shopping or doing daily things. I don't think either of them are, for me, appropriate for an event like a wedding or something, but you could take both of them to dinner. I would especially take the Speedy over the Neverfull if I wanted to dress up a little bit more. So that is my take on these two beautiful bags. I love both of them. If I had to choose, that's tough because I use them for different things. I used the Speedy more as an everyday bag, and I used to use the Neverfull more as an everyday bag. So it kind of depends on my mood. I use the Neverfull for travel for sure. That's a great bag for taking on an airplane. It's easy to access things. And I love taking a little clay and attaching that to the outside of either of these bags so I have my ID and cash and whatever handy, debit card. But they're both really handy bags. If you're trying to decide between one or the other, just go for the one that you're leaning toward a little bit more, and you can always get the other one later. These bags are always available, and they're on the lower price range. They're still expensive, of course, because they're Vuitton. But as far as the world of Vuitton and luxury prices goes, these are two of the most affordable bags that they offer. I would say, if you haven't heard me say this yet, I would say if you want a Neverfull, watch my video about old versus new Neverfulls, so you can decide which of those you want, because there's an old model and a new model. If you want the new model, personally I recommend buying that at the store rather than Preloved, because it's one of the things you can get around the same price or even cheaper in the store. If you're going for a Speedy, however, that I would buy Preloved, unless you just want a brand new one for some reason. But I've heard a lot of people saying that the Speedies nowadays, that the canvas is thinner and they're having issues with them. So mainly the canvas being thinner. Personally, I would recommend going Preloved with a Speedy, and you can find the bandolier ones, you can find ones with vachetta that still look new and are in great shape. Those would be my recommendations. I can't recommend one bag over the other. I think if you like one and you're interested in both, you'll probably end up with both at some point in your collection. You'll figure out how to make it happen. They're both fantastic bags. And that's all I have for you right now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful and gave you some more information to help you decide which one you might want to buy at all or first. Please like the video if you found it helpful or if you just liked it, and click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Also click that bell notification icon so you're notified when I post a new video. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fabulous day. Bye.